and then we're going to go through this. So when you're using the website, people have said that they've found a few complications with it. The steps are all there. You just need to sit yourself down and make sure that you've got them, that you've reached, you know, what is it that, where am I at now? The first step is you cannot do anything at all without a Proton email. If you need to be told how to make a Proton email, then I would sack this off as a bad job and go and get your vaccine, to be honest with you, because if you can't work out how to get a Proton email address sorted out, then this is not for you. The wonderful thing about universal law is, and the way that all of this critical mass works and collective consciousness appears to work, is that we don't need everybody to know all of the ins and outs of this. So the key people that you've got now in the community are then able to just simply follow the steps that they took themselves. If you sent an email, send an email. If you picked up the phone and got your number over the phone, pick up the phone and speak to us. But it is the self-determination that we are setting off on, standing on and creating from. And that doesn't come with somebody telling you what to do. So if you have really read the website, you will have found that the documents that you need to consider before you can accept anything are displayed up there. The notice of transfer of liability is the assignment of consent. So when you hear us talking about the assignment of consent, that document assigns your consent back to yourself. Now, what you should be doing is keeping a ledger book then. So whatever number it is that you've been given, christen your ledger book with that. So it keeps it nice and simple. You can rename it, relabel it, re-record it as something else whenever you like. But right here, right now, just to stick with it, keep it simple. Use your Kindness Credit account number and open the first page. Draw some columns in the book, so it doesn't have to be a pre-printed ledger book, and decide what it is. Determine for yourself, what is it that I need to record in here? The date. So I'm going to leave myself one column for me to record the line number. So the first line in my ledger book is 01. And then that can be used as a reference. That's how we create reference numbers. What is this in reference to? It's in reference to account number 2020-1056, for example, and it refers to a deed that has been recorded and ledger book roll number 1 of that account, and on page 1, line 1, column 1, I find the date of the deed of the assignment of consent. Whatever it is that I've entered into there, you are actually creating your own trust ledger roll, and this is all you need to be able to exemplify that you have got the capacity to be able to account for yourself and to record the deeds that you have conveyed in and out of your family trust. Now, the next column, we've gone through this. For me, it would be the deed that I did. Here's the date. What did I do on this date? So this is the when, the what, the assignment of consent. Where did I send it to? I sent it to the Rolls building. And the date that I actually received the confirmation that it had been correctly served, what is that? The tracker number. That's it. If you want a more comprehensive one and you're including the debts, the liabilities, put another column in, the amount. Well, in that amount, it's indefinable in that amount. You've assigned your consent back to yourself. And what you're actually doing now is you are now going to account for every bit of credit that you would have been implied was your debt by these companies, mortgage companies, electricity, gas, all of those, who are trying to lay a charge against you to incriminate you into believing that you have first any debt and accumulating credit for them then by paying it. So what you're doing at this level now, let's say we've got an electricity bill come through in the legal fiction. This is step one. This is your housekeeping, getting your affairs in order, and you are accounting for all of the items that you've put on the kindness credit claim form. That's why the kindness credit claim form is there, top left of each header page, for you to click on at any time. If you want to use that document then to put in there's prompts in there. This is how much I normally spend a month on my water. This is how much I spend on my gas, electricity, and you're working your way down so that you can see how much your 5 hours are now worth. You're obviously not including the 50 hours that you've got back if you're working a 50-hour week, or 40 hours that you've got back if you're working 45 hours a week, in order for you to create that credit for them, which was a debt for you. So you then obviously that line's going to say 02, so it's ledger book roll number, kindness credit account, that number, page 1, book 1, page 1, column 1, line 2 tells me the date of the assignment of the electricity bill in there, or the electricity account, or the council tax, or whatever it is that you've put in there. You can work your way down then past. These are the steps for you to move through. Don't come to me from listening to this on YouTube and telling me you want to buy a house, because you're back at the back of the queue. You clearly don't know what it is that you're doing, and you haven't shown any due diligence. So go back to the website, because the more you read it, the more sense it will make. And you then, once you've discharged all of those little things, the credit cards and all of that, you can move on then to your car, or your conveyance, or your bike, or whatever it is you use to convey yourself with. So you're in there now, let's cover that. What do I need to do to convey my conveyance into my trust? You need to, and you can either do it yourself, we can send you the documents, or you can even create your own documents. I'm trying to help you to create your own trust. The V5 document, you take it and you send the document off saying export to Elas. Nobody needs to put anything more than that, and nobody needs to add anything to any of the documents as they come to you. They are as is. All you need to do with the warranty card, for example, is stick a picture of your mugshot on it and laminate it. There's very, very little for you to actually do at this stage, which is just very simple accounting for the crimes, really, that you would have been committing had you continued in the role of Vatican debt slave. And this is where you're getting your power back, because then it relieves you of the belief, or the little golem saying, oh, you've assigned your consent to someone else now. It's you're actually doing it for yourselves. So the VIN number then is assigned into your trust ledger roll. So let's say line 10. What am I doing today? Today's date. I am assigning my conveyance. The V5 document, the VIN number goes in there, a reference to that VIN number. And the email, if you've sent it across to us, we just need the make and the model and the colour. If you're doing it yourself, you already know those things. You know the VIN number, you know the make, you know the model. Now, if you decide to fill these documents out yourself, these templates, you're more than welcome, like I said, and then you can send us a copy of it. Who's got the original? You have. And this is so important about the originals, because this has all of this malachias, all of this fraud has been done by counterfeiting your signature and making multiple copies of negotiable instruments off the back of your original document. So when you have entered that in there, you will have also got your number plates, won't you? So what are you doing? The next line, I'm assigning this VIN number with this number plate. So that, and it is as simple as that. Let us know that you've done that, or you can have it all together in a packet if you like. And this is what is coming in the training packet. You're going to have, where am I now? I'm at step 1. These are documents you need for step 1 to step 5. Wherever, once you finish those, you're going to do step 6 to step 10. But the problem is we gave these out in the beginning and you're all rushed off with step 10. I'm going to discharge my mortgage. Well, and then you come running back going, oh my God, the gas the gas company is coming. Well, how can they come? Well, because it's still in the legal fiction name. So you haven't done step 2, but you want to do step 10 without doing step 2. So this is why it's on these training modules are only going to be given to the people who've shown enough due diligence to drive all the way to where it is that they're having the meeting, and warrant this kind of in-depth explanation, because it is you guys that are going to teach it to the next guys. And so creating this these little like steps within steps now inside the training module, you've got how to create a ledger book, which is where we're at now. Now, in order for me to have anything to put in my ledger book, I have to do a deed, don't I? I have to actually do it. And this is why with automated services and websites, you don't actually do anything. You press a button and it's like, oh, somebody else is taking care of it. That's what all of our lives have been like. Somebody else is going to take care of that. It's not my responsibility. It's that, you know, and look what we've got out of it. So it is about accepting the responsibility. First, I've got to do the deed, and then I record it. So I can't record signing my, using my right of use of my property to offset a mortgage if I haven't put the work in beforehand. So that's going to come down then to about step 10. So if we go back to entry level number 7 now, here we are. We've got, what do we need when we're conveying ourselves? Well, I need a road safety certificate and I need indemnity. So I have have gone to speak to the mechanic already. I'm just going to take my car like some woman did. Took the car, left it there, didn't speak to the garage owner, let him do 300 quid's worth of work on it, and then come to me and say, got a £300 debt. Why? Well, I don't go and get my car now because I haven't got any money. Well, why is this guy still wanting 300 quid? Well, because I haven't talked to him about kindness credits. What are you doing? What did you actually do there? You caused somebody a liability with your lack of competence yourself, and then come to somebody else to stand surety to pay your debt of your libelous mind that has taken up hours and hours of mine, and then gone and dumped your car there, and then expect me to actually pay for you to have your car. You know, no wonder the government got sick of it, doing the job and handing over the keys and saying, right, okay, it's up to you guys now. And it really is up to you guys, all of you now. And so by, you've gone and spoken to the guy who's got the garage, and you've explained that you don't recognise the Ministry of Transport MOT. You've explained to him that you've got another document, it's called the road safety check, and that you need that document stamping instead. He does the MOT check on there. You've sat and talked to him about kindness credits. He thought you were going to have to pay him 300 quid for the work being done, and instead, the 5 hours that he's just spent fixing your car, you've just lifted him out of debt slavery for the rest of his life, not just for his business, but for his family. And not just for his family as it stands now, every other family member that comes after those children in his line of inheritance. Because you bothered to explain what it was that you knew. So the that's the kindness credits being put into effect in your community without any money. That's just your surety services. That's just the truth that's been shared to you freely, so that you don't have to cause and compound any more liabilities in your community, step by step. Now, the indemnity is, and it reads that you are this holder of this indemnity cover note, is the underwriter of the Lloyd's of London, because you are. You've always been the underwriters of these insurance companies, because you've been using the legal fiction to underwrite yourselves with. You've been granting your share of the planet's resources to these corporations so they can use it and say, oh yeah, all of your liabilities are discharged, but because you used legal fiction, you have to pay your penalty for getting your hands dirty in commerce. That's gone. The surety that's standing surety to you, that creates the word insurance, you are a surety. You're being covered by the share of the planet's resources that was always standing surety to you, just so you didn't have to commit fraud anymore in order for you to be able to access it. You've got a different set of ministers, instead of adding to the administration of the law or your trust, if you like, you're doing it yourself. So in the next line, there would be, for me, well, before my car, there would be my children. And it is very, very telling about where people's priorities are. Really big giveaway. I want to go and buy a 5-bedroom house, but my children are still considered chattel. Come on. You've got your live-born record. Again, this is going in the pack. And we are going to get people who say, oh, it's too much. You're giving me too many documents. I don't know what they are. Don't come on and bitch about not being able to determine for yourself how it is that you first of all ended up like that. And second of all, when you look at these documents side by side, you see for yourself that the birth certificate's replaced by the live-born record. If I only ever have one document, and we only ever did have one document, assignment of consent, that's it. People in Greece don't have TR1 documents and the equity swaps and acknowledgement of deed and all of that. They just run around with a red paper, take the number plates off and say, I don't know what I'm doing, call her. And it's enough, because it's in one way, yes, we do get that, and then we're like, oh bloody hell, who is it? What is it they did? We are leaving ourselves wide open, obviously, to these papers being used in a way that is contrary to the purpose that we've got for them. That's why these documents are not explained and disclosed. I'm not defining indefinable documents to, let's say, agents of presumption, let's call them. Whether that be, just somebody who's browsed the website and gone, right, okay, well, I can take that now. I've got a court case coming up, and really, this is somebody who perhaps the community would benefit if that particular person wasn't in circulation. So, the documents are written like they're written, the website's written like it's written, to prevent that as much as possible. And then obviously you all determine it for yourself inside a ledger book, is what is supposed to, okay, I'm the trustee. If you're coming to me and saying, I need you to do this, you're not the trustee. You're putting your trust in me, and then he's still not gone in. Why? Because it's the deed that we do that counts, not the things we say we may or may not do. I've got a piece of paper, and so now what? It's the actual doing of the deed that you're recording. So obviously the children the children would go in under your assignment of consent. In the same token, however, you assigning your consent automatically removes the presumption that your children and your procreation are chattel any longer. Now, if you've entered them, I know somebody talked about the family Bible, and there is, in Spain, they give these out. And, you know, it's got the family, the father's family name and his forefather, his grandfather, the child's grandparents in there on the mother's side, and the same on the other. And it's in place of the birth certificate. We don't actually issue. Well, actually they do. You get the family Bible first, and then you get the birth certificate in Spain. That's what it used to be like. And so, but the birth certificate is just a printout front and back from a white piece of paper that's been, you know, got a raised seal in the paper, bonded paper. That's it, literally bonded. So, the live born records are there for you to use if you want to go and get a passport and not use a birth certificate, or rebut the presumption that your child has to be registered. If you're getting people coming to you and saying, "I'm going to prosecute you if your child's not registered," you just simply pull out live born record and say, "My baby is already registered, but not in your register." What can they do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. In the same way they can't do anything. Why? Because you have built the alternative. Robin's sharing that Bookmeister meme about making the old system obsolete by creating a new one and having people adopt it. If you've got somebody who you're helping to assign their consent, very simple. Got my email, get on my phone, put in there, this is the reference name, this is the amount, and what have you just done then? You've just created a new ledger roll for someone. And so it's not, you know, don't need to spend all this time looking at something and criticising it. It's worked so well because it got you all here. And it's worked so well because it hasn't meant that I've had to waste hours and hours and hours with people who are not able to exert due diligence. Now, let's work our way down. We've got now to the mortgage. Now the mortgage, what you're doing with the mortgage, just go over it again. You are using the right of use of your property, and you're giving that slave token value. We're accepting that peaceful surrender of your right of use that you have recorded in your rolls. So at this point, what am I doing? I'm recording my right of use. Didn't even know I had one. Where have I got the right of use from? Well, I'm in possession. So here is my right of use being recorded. Here is my right of use being surrendered. Here is my right of use for perpetuity coming back from the trust. And here is a deed of acknowledgement, acknowledging that the equity swap has taken place inside the ledger book roll that has got the debt that the HM government owe of 10 quadrillion. And so that's a complete assignment with 4, maybe 5 entries. The 5th entry then is your quiet title. Your 6th entry after that one is your notification to your trust that you assigned that you notified land registry out of courtesy. Not that they exist anymore, but hey, you know, let's be kind. Send them a little packet. In there, it's got what the property used to be referred to as, the amount that was used in rocks, so that nobody can imply that you've had income or capital gains or tax, or your trust, and the receipt of the deed of acknowledgement, to say it's a job done, a deed is done. Quiet title, giving the reference, the new reference now that comes out of your ledger book. And then you've got the receipt from the postage. So now what you've done is you've accounted, that ledger roll now exemplifies secured party creditors to the HM government. Now that, then, it's just, what is it, one page? You might have, at this point, the idea is that you haven't ever got anything else to write in those books. Unless, let's say, okay, 10 years from now, you might turn around and say, right, okay, I don't want to live here anymore. I've put my right of use up to exchange on the website. Or I've put it on notice, send it around to all the emails of the people that I've got in my hub. And does anybody want to live in this house? And I've seen one that somebody else is offering in Wales. They don't want to live in Lambeth, but somebody else might. So the person might move out of Wales to a house in Bournemouth, and the person from Bournemouth might need to go and live in Lambeth for some reason. And so what you're actually doing is you're doing your own conveyance. Do you need an estate agent? No. No. Do you need an accountant? No. Do you need the government? No. Now from that, where you've got your share of the planet and its resources, enter that in there, put universal share. I've got my universal share back. And so, and I mean, whatever length you want to go to this, for me, you know, I've done this a long time ago, and that's why I haven't, the only ledger books I've got are all of your the crimes credit accounts and the debtor accounts. The going back and looking at, you know, do I need to record anything? It's really, you're at that point where you seem to be exemplifying what it is that you put to bed inside a book and close the cover on it. But let's say you wanted to go and you wanted to record that exchange. Can you imagine if everybody had the opportunity to have right of use of let's say 2 acres of land and a little small holding? That's all, you know, more than what you actually need as a family. And there would be no, you know, built-up areas. There'd be no water shortages. There'd be no concentration of souls or starving hungry, and without the access to their resources. And that's what you're driving. You're in the driving seat now as the executor of the decisions that are made as a community. And you're saying, here's my share of the water supply. Here's the next guys that I've got this sign of consent. Here's 22 million people's shares of the supply of water. And not one company, we haven't given it to one company at all. Not one company has got it. So, and what do we do then? We create our own water company. We create a company that we determine who's going to manage it. We set the standards of what the definition of clean water is. We take the full responsibility, and we put and support these people and say, okay, what do you need? Well, do you know what we need now? We just need food. All of us. We've got a roof over our head. We've got the means to convey ourselves, and what we haven't got at the moment is the accessibility to sustain yourself freely, because you're still all going to the supermarket. So you're still all credit in the supermarket, because if you weren't, it wouldn't be there. And if you weren't, there would be kindness credit pop-up shops all over the place, and people go in there instead. So, you know, it's physically impossible for me to create communities for 22 million people. That's up to you guys to do that. And that moves us then into these ledger rolls for your community. So we've been having a bit of fun with this week, as you can probably imagine. I know we're not supposed to have fun, but just can't help it. And we've been looking at various databases, let's say, and recording the assets. So I don't know whether I'm sorry if I speak these different words and you don't understand, but they're very easy to find. Google it. Asset management. What's asset management? Oh, there's a good one. Today, the Houses of Parliament were on fire, apparently, and they were having a restoration done. Did you see that? Did you see that they blamed the restoration for the fire? And I don't know if anybody did, but so now we're at the restoration of rights. So we've cleared all of our things away. We've gone. And Nika, you just popped up. I need your Proton email address, please, because I had something for you the other night, and I couldn't match your name with any Proton email. So if you can do that, that would be nice. And if everybody just sends a little email over now and says, hello, it was me using this name on the Zoom, then it really helps. If you've got anything that you want me to send you at the end of it, who it is that wants it and what email address I'm sending it to. So, what are we saying? So the ledger book. So we've got the restoration of rights now. So there's all of these data that we're doing an asset management assessment. So you've probably seen the movies where there's hostile takeover and in walks the new management team and everybody's like, ugh. And it's a little bit like that, but it's not. What's happened is quietly in the background, the debt equity swap was accepted by acquiescence, not rebutted. They had plenty of time. And not only that, then obviously in December, they upheld it and said, we recognise you as secured party creditors. Understanding that it gives you. So now you're at the point where, okay, I've got this amazing receipt that I never actually thought we would get. And we've got one here from the land registry. We've got the recordings from the police explaining that they can't do anything if nobody gives them that legal fiction. We've got how much proof does it need for you to stand up and say, okay, I am Mayor Strangling, and I am here on behalf of Big Blue Asset Management. It's my job to assess the asset and what it's being put to use for right now. Here is the asset. Let's say it's a post office building. Let's say it's the BBC, right? So we've come to assess this asset. It's a building that was created through sweat equity of our creditors, of the previous creditors of HM Government and the BBC, now retired. Now, if anybody wants to write that down, because you can maneuver yourself through any of this with just that statement, that you are here on behalf of the once creditors of that account, now retired. Now, that doesn't matter whether it was the legal fiction that you used to credit that you retired from, or whether it is you're here on behalf of the community, of the constituents of the community who used to credit HM Government. Why does it apply to that? Because nobody can credit HM Government anymore, even if you wanted to, because it's secured. Now, very simple, what happens in a bankruptcy? What happens in a bankruptcy? You can listen to the video that's recorded. In a bankruptcy, can the bankrupt company continue to trade? No. Can the bankrupt company execute any decisions? No. Can the bankruptcy create any more credit? No. Where does its creditors' funds go? To the official receiver. Who's the official receiver in this matter? Big Blue. Who's Big Blue? You. You are Big Blue Asset Management, because you are secured party creditors, and it was your deed that created the debt that you are now responsible for settling. And so when you use the right of use of your property to kindly discharge the debt, it's you're settling the debt that you created, and only you can do that. So when you've got it in that ledger book and you've written it in there, you've put the mortgage in there. I'm assigning my mortgage. Look at that. I was going to credit that bloody company 245 grand plus interest over the next 25 years, and they were going to make times 10 to the power of 10 in debt. Now, I don't know if you want to be very generous and put in that figure there, 240,000 times 10 times 10. That's what you have secured yourself from creating in the value of debt. Now, for me, it's priceless, every single one of you that comes out of that system and stops allowing them, not just credit in that name, but allowing them to use it to launder your share of the planet's resources through their little game that they're now having to play with the coronavirus pot. So at the moment, there is this limbo place where they can't do anything. They've got to create so much fear in you. They have to create the revenue through the fines for 2 or more people, or whatever it is these days, the masks, all of that, because they have to have a reason. Why is this a trust account being claimed? Why is this trust account or credit file still being able to be used under the banner of coronavirus? So I can still go in there and do my little fiddle because I'm writing everything off as coronavirus. Oh, you got a fine, and I'm going to charge you 60 quid or £6,000 or whatever it is. And you're going to pay me because you're scared. And I'm going to create 6,000 to 10 to the power of 10. So when you obviously take a step back at that and look at it, if they were able to continue using legal fictions for commerce, then commerce wouldn't be shut down, would it? Still, I'll be able to go and buy you shitty crap in the supermarkets and Nestle and all of that. And you wouldn't be in the position that you are now. It's profitable to have you all running out there and buying plastic shit. But in order for them to be able to continue like that, once their AAA credit rating was smashed, they had to create an indemnity, another pot, which is coronavirus. So when you go along there and you're Minister of Van, you're Big Blue Asset Management, you come to do an assessment of the asset. And what I've seen till now, actually, I'm appalled at what it is that you think is acceptable to be dishing out in the name of healthcare, medicine, aid, support, community help, food banks, what else? Whatever it is, this system has got, it has been an absolute shower of shite, let's say, in comparison to what our definition of public service should be. And we're not accepting this, but because it's not a public service, it's now a privatized corporation. We can, under the monopolies and exchange and all of that, opt out. That's what they say. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. Okay, it's business, nothing personal, just business. Well, we have gone somewhere else. We've gone across to universal law and we've said, look, to one another, here's my share of the planet, its resources, and I'm not okay with them over there. I'm not okay with the alternative, the option that I've got. If this is all I've got to give my share of the planet and its resources to, as an administering system, an administration system, not an administrative law system, because that doesn't exist, but a system of admin to administer the resources back to me. I'm not giving it to them. I have to create something else. So we all get together as a community, and just like they do, how do you think we create a company? We're already a company. We're all in one of those company right now. We're all now, it needs to be organized company. And so that we organize ourselves and say, here's my share, and we of the water. And we say to however many people it is that are already working for the water companies in our local areas, that Big Blue Asset Management have become the Universal Law Community Trust and the secured party creditor of HM Government. The shares of the water have been assigned to Big Blue Asset Management, and here is the People's Protection Patrol Water. They are going to implement this new structure regarding the safety and the content and the distribution of that water. Anybody who wants to stay in the role that you're playing at the moment, we're going to assess you. And if you meet our grade, if you meet the standard, then you'll be offered an opportunity to recontract with us under universal law. And you'll have all of your liabilities discharged, and you'll just do 5 hours a week. All right, guys. Or you can stay with these guys and don't expect a reference, and go and get your vaccine, because that's what you're getting. Now, we've had the police pulled up next to us 3 days ago now. And you probably all know about us going in there in March and giving them, in April, sorry, giving them the antidote. Really nice guy in there, they moved him in the end. And this other guy pulled up beside the road and said, called one of the ministers over and said, is there something you can do about the antidote? He said, yeah, there is something we can do. What is it? Why do you want it now? You know, we came in April to offer it to you, and you told us that we were crazy, and that you laughed. And they just said, look, they're going to force us to take the vaccine, and we don't want it. Right, well, here we are. Of course we'll give you the antidote, and of course your community is going to stand surety to you. It's absolutely nobody in this community is getting stuck with anything that they don't want. And each community needs one minister and Ben in there making sure that that doesn't happen. Now, if I hadn't gone out with you know, you're all laughing, oh, there she goes, the crazy one with the red ball, and well, there she goes, as Professor Denai in the van. But if I hadn't have done that, where would those people have gone? Where would they have felt any surety of where, you know, one guy that I've just spoken to, and I haven't spoken to him from since I was at school, and he quit on all of this. He knew it all about the birth certificate, but he quit because he couldn't imagine that there was a remedy to it. How many people are out there like that? There's no remedy. And so if I hadn't gone with the ball and, you know, with the coronavirus, call it what it is, and told everybody that I caught it and make a big song and dance about it outside, that wouldn't have gone around. If I hadn't have opened the shops, it wouldn't have gone around. If I hadn't have done the paper. So it's all very well doing all these things and then sitting in the house going, oh yeah, I'm all right, because if it comes through here, I'll pick my vaccine up that's in a syringe and tell them that they can have the same treatment. Because I did the Zooms. Okay, it's time to go outside now. It's time to go and knock on those doors and help the other people in your community, because otherwise, when you go, it doesn't mean anything. If you go and you restore the rights of, let's say, a water company and all of the facilities there, or AstraZeneca, what the hell is AstraZeneca still doing, trading in your company, in your country, in a language that we all speak? That place needs shutting down. This is where, you know, I've got people saying, oh, I want to do restoration of rights on this debt recovery company, or somebody's took my car, whatever. There is a chemical warfare plant in your back garden and you've done nothing about it, any of you. And you come back to me and say, oh, yeah, I'm really worried about this vaccine. Go and shut it down. Get out there, you put the restoration of rights on, you stick quarantine hazard stickers on it, you go with your hazmat suits, you go with your masks on, and you quarantine those people who are clearly infected with coronavirus and who not only are infected with it, they want to infect your community with it. And you want to talk to me about a debt recovery company that's already been shut down because it sent you an automated service, sent you a letter. You want to try pick up the phone as Minister O'Van and say, hello, Minister O'Van, which account do you want me to apply this credit to? Do you want me to apply it to the one that's overdrawn in your legal fiction corporate company that's already secured at Companies House by us? Or would you like me to apply it to the grand ledger of 10 quadrillion and knock it off HM government's debt instead? Very, very simple. And anybody who can't minister that very simple process to get yourself to a degree where you're right, I've cleared my shit out of my mind now, I can go outside and I can face these people in the street. Even if, I don't care if they're wearing a mask, give us your hand. What are you doing wearing a mask? Give them a fine. So we've told you here. When they heard that they were going to get fined here, wearing masks, there's, I would say 50% of them have got the masks off. And they're like that looking at me. You're reading the documents saying we're going to get prosecuted. She's going to prosecute us. All right. Is that what it's going to take? That we have to turn around and say and make people more scared of putting a mask on than not? But if you've gone peacefully into your community to spread this information of the restored credit status that these people have got, and introduce this in a way, then you're not going to be, you know, hiding behind a tree somewhere and thinking, oh my God, they might know who I am. Damn right I need to know who you are. You're Minister of Event, aren't you? Are you not here to exemplify the settling of the debt of the infected coronavirus mind that has infected us all with this crown mindset that, you know, we believe this bullshit and this. So, you know, if it's not this, it was going to be something else. They're going to bring out something else until you nip it in the bud. The restoration of rights for the first entry in the ledger book of that landmass there is AstraZeneca. The rest of it is peripheral, because it's not going to matter if you go and you restore the right of use to the farms, the lakes, the buildings, whatever. Your community is going to be zombied. So, you know, let's get our priorities in order. And that's what it looks like in the ledger book role is, you know, what is it that you did as far as the databases go? All you need to do is go in and get this information, you renumber it, and you put it into another ledger book role. Do a group, you're asking questions in here. You just need to organise yourselves, really. I mean, there's quite a big thing that I can't speak about at the moment going on here. Just be aware of, you know, who am I disclosing what to? If I want to talk about doing a restoration of rights, am I going to go and talk about it on the phone and go through the ins and outs and everything, and then not be surprised if the agents turn up and the building's already been sold? Use your mind. That's what it was supposed to be coming here to do, to create that thorough comprehension of what am I disclosing and who to start with. Am I under non-disclosure or am I not? Have I got no comprehension that my phone call is being recorded? Oh, yes, I have, and that's why I have, you know, say what I say on the phones. I say something completely different on the proton. between these people. And then what do? You take the information off the proton email and make a phone call and talk about it between yourselves. And then I get involved and I'm like, why are you doing that? And like, oh, she's got knickers up her ass again. Well, you know, you just wasted my time. You wasted my time, you wasted my energy, and you wasted all of the other people's time because you couldn't determine for yourself, when do I say what and who to and in what way? And if I come up with a question about that and go, right, if I need to ask myself, is it a good thing to use that information right now? Then the answer is no. Put it on a proton mail if you have to ask yourself. And so what we can do, everybody who wants to be involved in going and doing that very simple task, and it is very simple, and the effect is massive. Even thinking about it appears to be enough, because we were just talking about a particular building in India and up it went in smoke. That I've told you about the stories about what's happened to the courts in Samos and all of these other places. Tsunamis come. You are invoking universal law, and whether you can comprehend the magnitude of that or not, it would prevail by whether or not a bunch of criminals, even the police want the antidote. Go and give it to them. I'm the antidote. I'm going to prevent you from being forced vaccinated by the Nazis, by the Ashkenazis, not even Jews, before they all get on the, oh, she's anti-Jew. Not anti anything except forcing your belief on another. That's it. And right there, right in your back garden, you know their address, you know where they are, you know you're the secured party creditor to AstraZeneca and Pfizer. What are they still doing using your stuff to murder your community with? What are they still doing squatting in your back garden? What's the BBC doing still squatting in the building over there? What are those parasites doing squatting in the House of the Parliament? They're squatters. You are under illegal occupation, and they are there by adverse possession. Now that doesn't even stand anymore. A load of title doesn't mean jack. Got a quiet title on the whole lot, on all of it. Somebody gave me an amazing feedback the other day. I gave him a kindness credit account number, and he just said, that's the longitude and latitude of the universe. What? Compared to what? And I've been standing 2 days before, wondering what the longitude and latitude of the universe is. And somebody comes along with that. And Audrey, I don't know what you're doing, but it's like, yeah, I'm completely, where have we got Kunta Kinte from? Audrey.
Yeah.
Where did you get Kunta Kinte from?
My mother called us all it for years when we were children.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Yeah.
Kunti Kinte is the company's house. Kunti Kinte was a slave.
You know?
And Kunti Kinte House are the masters.
I couldn't believe it when I saw what you'd written on top of that. Now, this is universal law we're talking about. When we run out of words, it's that. When we have got no explanation for how something occurs, it's that. You can write something down on a document, and it happens. That is what they've kept secret from you. That you do matter, that your energy matters, that your intent matters, that if you apply yourself completely devoid of any hesitation and you just step off, the matter that you're standing on there is trust in universal law. And I was thinking about this when I came back from the dogs. You know, all my life, it turns out, I've been stepping off. And I asked myself today, what made me think I was always going to be okay? What made me think it was all right you know, a sane person or a person who didn't have trust in universal law would look and hear at the things that I've said and the things that I've done, and they would say, I can't do that. Of course you can do that. Why? Because you just let go of that thing that you think that you know. And that what if. I've gone down 20 frigging steps before
Yeah.
I've even done step one. So
Today I had, sorry.
go on, love. It's the Kunta Kinte mindset.
Today my 80-year-old father said to me that he had been thinking about a word, and an hour later he got a phone call, and the guy who called him was speaking about that word. And that's the first time my dad has ever said anything like that to me. I think that the law of the universe is a lot more clearer now than it used to be. We're moving into the age of Aquarius, all that kind of stuff. I think everyone's consciousness are being heightened at the moment.
Yeah.
Don't know it.
You can feel it as well, and the conversations that's being had.
Yeah.
It's like we're aware that of universal law, because you just got to go and look at it in the mirror, haven't you? What the hell is that standing there looking back at me? Or what is me doing looking back at this thing that I don't even know what it is? What is it that is observing itself now in the mirror? Just things like that, you know. And I know a lot of you already have done a lot of work to get to this point. And it is that what you're going and standing in. And so there is no, as I was, like I said, walking up, I'm thinking, it can only be that. It can be the feeling that, and the belief that everything is always going to be all right. And, you know, just giving yourself up to that and allowing it to guide you. It speaks through you. I mean, you know, a lot of you have been practicing the scripts that have been sent out to bring it into to your unconscious of doing it. It's like second nature for you to speak these words. And, you know, all you've got to do is just park the fear. You don't need to know what to say. You don't, and you definitely don't need to tell someone to tell you how to say it, because it's your exemplification of undiluted universal source energy at the fore of creation. And that's why, yes, it's great that we've all got to the same page, let's say, in the ledger book, but we're just about to turn the page now, and there is nothing written in there yet. I've gone all goose pimply all over. There's nothing written in there yet, and now it's up to us to write People's Protection Patrol Water, Durham, Scotland, People's Protection Patrol Property, Leeds, whatever it is. And like I say, the first, let's go to the biggest manufacturer of fear and harm, loss and damage, and take it out and secure it completely. And you can't mess it up, because you're speaking commerce to them. And you know your commerce, right? And you don't even need to even know much about the commerce except the words secured party and settlement, debt equity swap, and hostile peaceful takeover. It would have been hostile if we'd have come with guns, but we don't need to do that, because we know we're only fighting remnants of ourselves.
We have the pen. Do you? I think maybe I be wrong, but do you know, like over the years, English language literature has changed. Kids at school nowadays, they're getting arithmetic and algebra, and they're being taught to do it a way that we never got taught to do it. So everything's getting changed all the time. So we're constantly being held into their word spells.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Like,
It's
yeah,
people
I like.
building.
I'm 50 years old, and some of the words that I've seen on the website and the Facebook page, I've had to go and see what they mean, because I didn't use those kind of words, because that's not the English we were taught at school or college or uni or anything. So I've had to go and like write words down and say what they mean to simplify it for myself.
Yeah, and it is like building that roadmap. You know,
Yeah.
for yourself. What does it mean to me? This how can
Mm-hmm.
I demonstrate or exemplify this
Yeah.
myself?
Uh-huh.
So, and what we don't want, this is why, in one way, it's very good learning the script of the presentation. Um, but whatever comes after that, that's your creation. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we don't want one person creating or one being creating for on behalf of the rest of the people. We've had centuries, eons of that. And
Mm-hmm.
so it is that little bit, it's like, oh God, I've got to take responsibility for myself now. And I've got nobody else to go to blame
Mm-hmm.
if I cock it up. And you know
Yep.
what? You find that you didn't need to go to anybody because you went to yourself first and you said, I'm putting my trust in myself.
Yep.
And it's that, and keep that to you. You know that you're doing the right thing. You know that the universe is responding. And so if you go and you put yourself right in the face of, you know, between these people and this scary monster that they've manifested in their minds, and you stand there, just one of you is enough to cause the ripple of the suddenly these people are looking at you, or they
Mm-hmm.
hear about it, or they're, you know, they become aware of it, and they're like, somebody would do that for us, you know. And it's like doing the veg boxes and stuff today. It's heartbreaking that we live in a society where the supplying food to somebody who hasn't got any is seen as such a massive deal, and I've been in bits today because of that.
Yeah.
It's one of the most simplest acts that any one of us can do at any time. We shouldn't be relying on these places and veg boxes. We've got surplus income now, even if we're on benefits, because 600 quid of it is not going on your gas, your water, electricity, your council tax, and your rent. You've got
Mm-hmm.
your money back in your hands. You should be buying veg boxes for people and taking them and create open kindness credits, food bank. It's
Yeah.
not a food bank, because bank means to hold a kindness credit flow of food.
Yeah.
And you know, we're all guilty of obviously the waste and buying things that we don't particularly need. Well, we've got people who've got sixpence in their pocket, you know, until Thursday, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and no
Mm-hmm.
way of being able to support themselves. And the only thing we've lost is the community. I know that if I went out here and I haven't eaten anything, and I went across the road and I said, we've got some food, they'll give it to me.
Yeah.
Because of what I've done for them,
Yep.
you know. And and really, in England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, we've lost that. We've lost, and that's what these community trusts are supposed to be building. And so the ledger books. So let's say you nominate, you say, right, okay, I'm really good at doing accounting. I like writing things, and I like to, you know, assigning the numbers across. So all of this asset is just going to have another number next to it, and it's
Uh-huh.
got a massive circle put around it, which it already has. And even that doesn't cover 37 quadrillion, which is the 10 quadrillion plus the 37 that's sitting over here in another ledger book with Hellenic Republic stamped on it.
Mm-hmm.
So don't ever think, oh, I'm overvaluing it. The value of those companies not being in operation far outweighs any monetary value that we could put against it. If we were to value one living being as priceless, you know, which is really what you are on the stock exchange, is unlimited credit facility,
Mm-hmm.
then, you know, we start looking at one another in a different light. That, you know, I can't put a value on even if I only stop them in vaccinating one, even if I only stop them stealing that one person's house, or even if I only stop one person signing their child into debt slavery, that's it. Just that
Then the
it
purpose have served you well then.
pardon?
I'm saying if there's only one person that changes because of what you're doing, it has served you a purpose.
Of course,
It's done its job.
yeah, it was worth putting your energy in
Yeah.
to invest. And you know, this is why we carry on doing these, because I know that it is going to affect a percentage of people. We're not going to be able to affect everybody with this same mindset. But the fact is that we don't need to. It just needs to be that tipping point. These companies
Yep.
cannot, they can no longer capitalize on the rights of the people, or they can because it's just a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when they come along and they say to you, no, you can't do that because we're the government, you go, all right then, government. Sorry, here's my penalty for that. When we're talking about building an alternative, it's that Big Blue Asset Management is the alternative to the asset management companies, Crown Corporation Holdings, Key West Holdings, UKAR, the Rothschild Holdings, the Duchy of Cornwall. It's all gone. And these police and policy enforcers, and they're the front line. Those are the ones that you need to relieve the ignorance from, because it's them that are upholding it. How are you going to do that if you sat behind your laptop being a good slave and I'm on lockdown and I'm just going to the supermarket and I press button 4, told them where I'm going, and then I'm going to get all arsey about everybody wearing masks? You need to go there and create such a disturbance in that mindset that they can't help but call the police. And now the police are coming now. So you've got all these slaves standing there going, oh no, she's going to get it now. The police are coming. And the police, what can the police do? Nothing.
Fuck all.
Absolutely that, with no bells. And
Do you mind me asking a quick question?
yes.
It's weird because I had this very similar mindset today. It's weird how I was thinking the same thing. And I was thinking, how can I go if I went and bought a separate phone so it's not linked to my phone, because obviously stuff on my phone, and Facebook Live on a Facebook account and create a disturbance to prove to everybody that you can't be touched? Is that what you're trying to do? Trying to prove to everyone to wake up, you know, and then when the police come, record them and go, look, well, I minister MFN, and then record the process to help.
Yeah, I mean, anything like that. So I'm Minister Emma, what are you doing, and why have you put those notices on that gate, and why won't you let any cars in or out? Why are you laid on the floor? Well, because I'm the secured party creditor, and I wanted you to come, and you wouldn't come if I called you. So I know the only way to get you here is to actually come and exemplify the difference between legal and lawful. Are you ready for step 1? The lesson today will be, how do you create a contract without one? To the police. And okay, they're gonna, you know, who are you? What you doing? Secured party creditor. I don't know about lying in the road if it's a secured party creditor. It depends, you know. Well, we've got all sorts of people in this trust. It's however you want. Feel confident in exemplifying this. You're exemplifying secured party creditor status. So we go in booted and suited up. We've got the clipboards. You've got your hard hats. You've got your official-looking front runners, and they do the talking. You've got your muscle at the back. You've got the guys, the engineers standing there ready to do the assessment. The people who know the job inside out. What is it that you assess here? Well, they're actually, from my point of view, they're murdering people. Okay. Now, Mr. Policy Enforcer, we've got grounds to believe that there's potential murder being created, and murder and manslaughter and chemical warfare being conducted behind these walls, and they're using our assets to do it. Now, we've already sent them a notice. Have we sent them a notice? Has anybody sent AstraZeneca a notice? No, so that'll be me then. Fortunately, I have, and I can send you a copy of that. The CEO was already placed on notice, and Pfizer, that this is what was going to happen, and that they had 90 days to evacuate. That's gone. So you're there with the eviction team now. You've got your documents. You've got the UCC 96 or 9610 definition of it being peacefully surrendered by the once creditors. So we all were the once creditors of HM government that licensed Pfizer to use our asset based in Cambridge to commit warfare. Isn't it time we remedied that massive debt?
Quick question, please.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm all through my life I'm a blagger, so I'm confident I can confidently tomorrow step into this place if I had people with me, because I wouldn't have a clue what to do otherwise. So I mean, going
How can you do it
forward,
then? So you're only a blagger if you've got company, is that what you're telling me?
I've if you knew my life, I was dragged up backwards, and I kind of blagged my way through the system. I was like a joker. I thought, oh, this is how you act if you have to talk to a director. Oh, this is how you act if you have to talk to so and so. That's kind of like been my life. So what I'm saying is, I've just, whilst you were saying the name of this chemical company, I was googling it. I was like, shit, there's like loads all around, and then you're like, you're on about people going there, and I'm thinking, well, I could go there. I have the confidence to go there, but you know, I don't have the wording. I don't have the you know, I can only go so far. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't make any sense. I've just told you what to say when you go in there. So you're here to one person. You don't need one person. Was it one person or two? Went into the Princess Alexandra Hospital and did it. We've got the woman running around screaming. She's on the phone to me. Who are you? Who are you? Well, who are you? You called me on a withheld number. Oh, turns out it's Princess Alexandra Hospital. We've had so it only takes, you're going in there, and do you need your buddies with you if you're making an appointment? If you're going in there and you expect to be let in, of course, you're the secured party creditor, you walk straight through and they're going to stop you. What are you going to say? How you're going to stop me from then? Get your hands up.
So hold on, it's where's it gone? Hold on.
I'm not going to do the word for word thing here on.
Yeah, no, I wrote it
YouTube.
down. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I wrote it down as you said it. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so all I need to do is memorize what you've just said to me. I can literally walk into this place and go, I'm da 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 da, word for word, and that's it. I can do it on my own if I wanted to.
Absolutely. And you just serve them with an eviction notice. You can even tell them that an assessment has already been done. That's what I told them about the prison, that I was there doing an asset assessment to report back to the secured party creditors to decide whether they were going to keep you on or not. And unfortunately, you all sacked. Sacked. And the more that you say it actually happens, because you're creating, sacked you. You're dismissed. Well, they were in the customs. She turned around to me, this chief of the customs, and she's like, so that means that you're going to pay our wages then if you're our secured party creditors, because we haven't been paid for ages. I said, well, you do this shitty job for free. I said, actually, yes, all of you, except you, I pointed at her, you can keep your jobs and we'll pay you. And she just stormed out. She was just like, I said, because she's no, and the other guys in the office were laughing because they obviously hated this woman. She's an absolute beast. And and they were all like, when does this start? Then I was like, when you give me them papers back. And it's gone, the system's gone. I can't do, I've done my part that I can do in the securing the Pfizer in your country. You have to do that there. AstraZeneca, Zen. Split the word up and go and see what all of that means in Greek, and you get a full picture of what it is. That is the eye of the non-entity. It's the eye of the trapping of the source energy of people, of universal source energy. And it's all being guzzled up in there and manifest and manufactured and compounded and then stuck in a syringe. And then it's going to be forever lasting inside somebody's DNA. And, you know, anybody standing around allowing that to happen is an accomplice.
Do you just go in there and kick them out?
You serve them with an eviction notice, and if you have got enough people to do that, to kick them out after the 28 days, then yes. And at that point there, the police have to put it in the court. They're going to try and put you in the court, aren't they? And at that point there, what happens then? The secured party creditors can't put you in the court, can they? And that's why I'm saying it's a whole packet thing. You need the people around you. You need to build your community up. You need to know that if I need backup, I've got the People's Protection Patrol here to say, you're not doing this with any of our shares, first of all. That's why we secured the company through HM government. And you're not doing this. And so in commerce, you're screwed to the decks. And under the law, you're breaking it. So we've got rid of the thing within England. You've got this commercial, coded, indoctrinated policeman who's sworn his oath to common law. That's why it's difficult in a different way there. But it's not. Here it's more difficult in that way because they haven't got. What are you talking about? You haven't got any rights. What common law? What? This is just pure code. Even the criminal law is called Poenica Codica, it's still code because everybody is already, and they accept, an employee of the company. They know that we work for Hellenic Republic, or our lives are this, and it's been like that for 2,000 years here. So they work for the Vatican, in other words. They think that, I mean, some of them obviously think they work for the country. And it's that at that level they can't determine between the two. But in England, you're removing the commercial code. Even the commercial code with secured party creditors, here's Companies House acknowledging us as secured party creditors to UK government limited, whoever they are. But the point is, they only got one document, and it was the UCC one. That was it. And the UCC one actually got another company's name on it, if anybody's bothered to notice. It says Her Majesty's Government on it. Why do you think that was enough to cover another company that is inside the system of UK, of HM government? Because it covers the whole damn lot, that's why. Whether you're a legal fiction in there, you don't even know you're a legal fiction, whether you're a legal fiction and you've reserved your rights from using it and you're tired all of your credit, whether you're Minister MFN in there, whether you're a company, whether you're a title deed holder, whether you're a shareholder, whether you're a whatever title it is, read the filing and read the response that they got, which is that no, all claims are quietened. And so we're past the claiming point. It's a debt equity swap. These squatters are squatting on asset peacefully surrendered by the once creditors of HM government unto universal law to discharge the debt that we all created by allowing things like this to happen on our doorstep while we turn another cheek, while we go and find the debt recovery company that doesn't really exist. This doesn't really exist. The right of use of our assets to be used for breaking the law with doesn't exist anymore, because we're upholding universal law. And so when you're talking to that police officer, I'm not standing you down, I'm standing you up. I'm standing you up, and I'm investing universal law, and I'm now granting you warrant issued by Universal Law Community Trust creditors to do your job, and we've got your back while you do it. Because they're coming for you next, Mr. Policeman. I'm standing here for you and your child and your grandchildren and your great-great-grandchildren. That's why I'm standing here. That's why I'm securing this building. And if you are so blind to see and so indoctrinated to realize that, then okay, let's go down there and have a look in your blind alley, and you will see to 5 hours from now what I'm actually saying to you is true. And then I'll come with you now. I'm going to arrest you because you're not doing your job. You're going to obviously throw me on the floor and all of that because you like it. And I like it a little bit as well, actually. That's why I like doing this. And so we both get what it is that we want, and I get what I want because I want you to learn what it is that I know. So even if at that point AstraZeneca still opens its doors the next day and still creates toxin, you've helped whoever it is in that chain of events realize something that they didn't know before now. And so just that is, you're securing that little bit that was unsecured by, it might just be a policeman or 2 or 3 or 5 or the chief constable or the judge or the secured party creditors that are now in such a position. Because if we get a court saying secured party creditor status has no standing, they are signing their own death pledge. That's their mortgage, and you giving it back just by standing there and saying, actually, I'm of the comprehension that this is unlawful, and let's go to the court. Let's go check it out. You're not the judge, obviously. You're not legally trained. We know that. So there's no point in me, like I said before, casting my pearls before swine. But I want to help you. Why have you come here? What are you doing? What is your name, Minister Emma Venn? What are you doing here? I'm secured party creditor. What is it you want? I want you to help me evict these people who are unlawfully squatting and causing harm in my community. Now, any policeman or woman standing there who is there for the job that they went to and said that they are wearing that uniform for, which is to uphold and restore the rights of the people, then what you've done there is you've made them unsecure in their role in this. And the more you do it, the more keys you start to turn that they didn't even know. They were so secure in their comprehension of, I'm doing the right thing. I'm keeping my community safe of criminals. Is those that we're speaking to. The ones that are clones and that are just, they're insignificant anyway. But because it is the real creators in there, the ones that have got that what's the word, love frequency of them, and the reason why they've gone there to do that job. And it's those people that you're speaking to. And without them inside that force would be finished. It's, I've noticed it here. They pick the really special energies and train them out of it, so that you can see this complete cognitive dissonance in them. Here it's greater, more apparent, let's say, than it is over there, because we've been infiltrated for quite some time with this Ashkenazi mentality of nihilism, having no respect for another living being, another living thing, having no respect for ourselves. And reality looks like that accordingly. So going and putting yourself in between that, and just, you know, if it gets to it, invoke universal law. By the power of universal law vested in me, I shall not commit fraud upon my soul. And committing fraud upon my soul is standing by, knowing that this is going on. Somebody counting how many people over the age of 70 have been ministered with this stuff. And we're all going, oh, can't buy Nestle anymore. No, you bloody can't buy Nestle. Did you really need somebody to stick a sticker over it and all and say it's toxic to stop you buying it? And can you not see that there is something at work here that is the opposite of all that? All of the things that you know have been wrong, all put away in a book somewhere. That was the worst bloody fairy tale that I ever read. And I've shut the book. And now I'm writing another one. But first, we've got to get rid of these. We have to practice it. We have to create it. And this is what the point that we're at now is like I said, the universal ledger books are open. The ledgers have been settled previous to this turning of this page. And it's now, what is it going to look like? Because of you guys. Because you're Minister and Ven and you know what's going on. And you comprehend it to that level. And now I'm going to exemplify it. And nobody and nothing is going to stop me. Not a fear, not a doubt, not a hesitation, not a big scary policeman that's 6 foot tall and 6 foot wide with a gun pointing at me. None of it. Bars at the window, none of it. My worst possible imagining of what could happen next, I'm going to do it anyway. Because I really am ministering my mind. And I know that all of it is fiction. So I'm going to pick out the bit that I want to see, that I'm going to create with, instead of all of the other bits that it's the same level. If I've got all of these bits of information to pick from, to choose what it is that I'm going to create, and I know that that's what I'm doing, why the hell would I choose, first of all, Baltic and Death Slave? Why the hell would I choose fear, hate, separation, segregation? It's not that I haven't got any other things to choose from. I've got the whole universe to choose from. But I'm attracted to that. Why? Because I know it. I know. And worse than that, it's because I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong about this. I can't go on that website or listen to that woman or even try one of these steps because of the wonderful thing. It could have been, but wasn't, because I chose to believe it wasn't possible. And I allowed all of my indoctrination over the years to come to the fore again, right now. Because all I've got is right now, and it might as well, Truman Show doesn't even touch the sides of what this is. Just rinse and repeat, laundry service. Going around and around, and the only thing that changes is our clothes. And the cars that we drive. The rest of it is, how many eons do we have to go through this transition? Again, we're at the transition point. Whoop, no, I'm not doing that. The transition point. No, I'm not doing that. Where is that transition point? Every single second that you've got. And when you start to get a grip of every single second, nanosecond, every single moment, let's call it, that you've got, and the ulterior goal is to feel with that feeling that you get when you say that universal law is vested in me, or whatever it is that clicks that on. And that is what we're talking about, putting the trust in. It doesn't, you're right, it doesn't exist. That trust doesn't exist. It's not registered anywhere. The problem is you've taken your trust and you've recorded it somewhere and said, I trust this registration system, logging, role, ledger book with my recognition of it first. Recognize it as having some value. If I go over here and I stick my name, that I think is mine, in there, I'm part of something. Well, actually, you just took yourself apart with one little bit and put all that you are, all that you think that you are, into the hands of somebody else. And so that's why the ledger books are important. And that's why the website is written in the way that it is. Because if you can't, like we said at the beginning, if you can't determine that for yourselves, then there's no way that I'm just going to waste my time. And there's no way I'm doing that on people who are never even going to get to the point where they're ever going to go and shut AstraZeneca down, because they just talk the talk and don't walk the walk. And then we've got the wonderful people, and they're like, I can walk the walk, but I can't talk the talk. The walk is the talk. Do walking and talking, do it both at the same time. And go and put this into practice to see what this is. This document says this. What does it mean? It means that the mental state is being recorded and documented. The mental state of their system stands on secured party creditor status in the commercial. In their system, universal law stands precedence of everything, and they know that everything comes after that. Where are you now? You're not in front of them in a confrontation. You're behind them. You're behind them. You're guiding them. And that's what, if you want to call it, a shepherd does. You know, you guide them. You don't stand there and confront them. You don't want thousands of sheep standing there giving it the big one. You know, instead you're going to the point before all of that adding to the administration of the law existed, and the point where you stop indoctrinating yourself with the doubt is the point where you then open your mouth and don't even think what it is that you're saying. Just let the universe speak.
Can I say something?
Love to.
I just, the only thing is, while you were talking, I was just thinking as to whether people actually have the right idea of the universe within them, like whether they look at themselves as a piece of the universe and whether they have confidence within themselves, because when they do give the trust, the assignment of consent is exactly that. Like you keep saying, it's putting the trust back in yourself, because you've just put the trust back into the universe. What are you? You are the universe. Meaning, it doesn't get much simpler than that. And like you said about AstraZeneca, just it's all about that visualization. What are you going to do when you get there? Are you going to walk in like it's my house that you just messed with? Is this what my share of the planet is going to be used for? As of right now, I'm the only one over here in this territory. So this whole thing is just my share that they're messing with. And if I can let them get away with it, then that's on me completely right now, because I took on the assignment of consent before anybody else. So where does that responsibility lie now? It lies right upon me to be able to show everybody that disbelieves this process and disbelieves in the universe, that this is what the universe can do. And that's it. You just, obviously, who are you? You are the voice of the universe. When you speak, they will counter it, but will it be strong enough? Never. Why? Because this is all about the universe. They've been going against universal law till now. And that's all they have. They've gone against, and against. And that's all they have. They have no solutions with them, obviously.
They've been upholding the universal law. Their consciences are covered.
Oh, yeah, in terms of what they've been doing.
You all to break it. And so if you can just take your head around that bit, that their system stands on the universal law. I've been breaking it. What happens then if I don't break universal law? Nothing of that fictional system can happen. Because it was
and the only best part is, the best part is you get to see it crumble in front of your eyes after that. You know what I'm saying? Once the action is done by you, obviously, going and actually doing it.
That's it. It's the deed. And so you know, that's got bogged down in any more writings and any more paperwork. And you know, the deed was done, and we all felt it. And the deed was done, and we can all see it. And you know, it's the people that have been coming and saying, I didn't know anything about this, but last year on that day, something happened to me. And so many people, the spell has been broken, and now, but we're at that point now. We're just cleaning our mess up. That's all. I'm just, you know, we talk about draining the swamp and all of that. I believe somebody did. You know, but we're looking at the biggest swamp monsters. What were they? Just clearing the little swamp monsters so that they could have more to eat. But it turns out we're the swamp monsters because we're the ones actually authenticating this by not upholding universal law. And so you turn it on its afternoon, there could never have been a remedy. There could have never been a solution. It can never work like that. It can never, and okay, there you go. Look where you are. You're in a position where it's never ever going to happen for you. But because of the critical mass, those people, we don't need to get them in a position where they can minister their mind before we see the results of this. It's the fact that when you go and you open your mouth in that circumstance, in that situation, and you say, I'm ministering an event and I'm a secured party creditor, it's what happens in the other party's head. And you don't, at that point, you don't define what that means. Let them do it. Don't determine anything. I've seen somebody's writing these covering letters. You write nothing that goes with these documents. You are not defining the indefinable, so that somebody like that can then go, oh, that's what you mean. It's one of the guys was talking yesterday, and they said, oh, you know, we've talked about things like this before. They've said, oh, you're free man of the land then. Well, you've got a label for you. No. Do you know what secured party creditor is? No. Well, it's like the bank being secured in your house. If you don't pay them, they can take your house, right? Well, HM government, and AstraZeneca and Pfizer got a great big debt, and we're the bank. We hold that debt. Now, you know enough, and I'm sure you've been to enough evictions in your life, Mr. PC, that you know that the secured party creditor can evict the party out of the property, right? These are your rules, remember? You've been upholding them all these years. You've been a policeman, remember? You've been going and standing there to make sure there's no breach of the peace. So now you can do the same. You can stand there as a silent witness. And if there is a breach of the peace, it won't be me that's making it. Because it isn't, how can there be any peace being breached? We haven't got any peace. I'm here to restore the rights of the people to their peace of mind. You see, I didn't think about any of that. I just laughed at myself when I turned the microphone on and said to myself, I wonder what we're going to talk about tonight then. And so, restoring the peace of your mind really is that's the best thing you could do. What do you come as? Like I'm as minister of event, I'm the restorer of peace. I'm going to drag you around. I'm going to throw you about, and but you're a peacekeeper, aren't you? Policemen and women supposed to keep the peace. Don't you go to evictions to stop the breach of the peace? Well, is your peace not broken? Are you not bothered that this company can trespass on your rights? Can come and do this to you? No, I'm bothered. It looks like a big breach of the peace to me, that. I don't know what your definition of peace is, but if it's not broken by that bunch of criminals over there, then whew, I haven't got a definition for that. So, has anybody got any questions?
Have you got the what you sent to the CEO then?
Yes.
How do we get a copy of that?
I'll send it over. Anybody who wants a copy of anything like this. And I think it might actually be in files on Facebook. It may have been a post.
Okay.
But I'll send it over to you.
Okay.
In fact, it is up on Facebook.
On Facebook, yeah?
Yeah. I put it up there. Well, Minister McVen did anyway, literally. And so you can have that. And I think there's also an eviction notice. And there is eviction notice with it as well.
Okay.
And so it's past due. It's past due. And you can spell that however you like.
Okay, so I have got that document, by the way. And yes, you were very kind to send it across when we secured what we secured. And yeah, I'm literally jumping with joy right now, imagining all of it go down. Because it's pretty close. It's not far at all. I just Googled it.
It set itself on fire? What?
Yeah. No, I've got the actual documents in my email now. So the attachment that you sent over after.
Great. So anybody else who wants a copy of it and they can't find it on Facebook, more than happy.
You know what it's called on Facebook?
I think it'll be down. Have a look for the date in files for the FISA filing.
FISA. I've got the FISA UCC1 HTML.
Yeah, and just look at the date on there. Oh, is it
HTML? 2nd of December, it says.
2nd of December. Have a look down the post then for 2nd of December, around that time. In fact, let me have a look. I might
is there any chance, if we can't find it, are you able to email it across to me? Because I'm more than confident now to go into FISA or wherever and do what I've got to do.
I'm going to read it to you so it's recorded and we can put it on YouTube. It says, "Dear creditor of the legal fiction, Bula Albert," and this was sent to him on the 2nd of December. "I am obliged to," it's "Dear creditor of the legal fiction, Bula Albert, I am obliged to inform you, in order to reserve the rights of all parties, that any attempt to experiment on universal law community trust collateral or creditors will be considered an acceptance of our Schedule A terms and conditions to enter into commercial intercourse with the commercial element of our trust. Currently, as we are the secured party creditors to HM Government and have not granted any license to FISA to continue trading upon land used as a debt equity swap, your corporation is trespassing on our property. HM Government have no authority or consent to grant to your organisation, and as such, the charges for such trespass and false claim being continuated through FISA association with HM Government have amassed in excess of 10 quadrillion slave tokens worth of Kerner's credits, our currency. We have accepted the collateral, once known as UK, as a debt equity swap, and we have and will not grant any license to FISA. In light of this, we are ordering our creditors to secure any buildings and collateral to offset the debt that is escalating daily due to the charges being applied through the false claim and trespass. The presumptions made by Pfizer that it has any right of use of any of our collateral in any way, shape or form, including but not exclusively our DNA, are rebutted. The onslaught of chemicals being misrepresented through Medici definitions is not acceptable. Any and all previously abandoned property or salvage has been restored through a restoration of rights procedure, and not one body, including those who have not yet reached the legal majority, by becoming aware of the truth about the fiction that we have all been coerced into believing regarding the definitions of health care being quite the opposite as what has been represented through the years. We have enough evidence now to file an application in the Ministry of Remedy in universal law jurisdiction for the criminal deeds already undertaken in the name of life science, with which this email gives sufficient notice of our intent to prosecute all parties. Warrants will be issued and arrests will be made. People will be held until a universal law hearing is facilitated, whereupon all those responsible for acts of terrorism and murder will be treated accordingly. This is not a threat. This is a very simple notice outlining the conditions in which you will be accepting to engage with us on this commercial level. On an energetic level, attempting to hijack the creational capacity of any of our indefinable beings as unrevealed charges which will be accepted by the very acts of executing any further orders. In short, you're fired from your role. Pfizer is secured and has no license upon which to presume trading. The laundering of people's energy through belief mechanisms and propaganda is to cease, and as of today, any charges will be levied directly against the trading accounts of Pfizer, and the criminal charges will be inherited by the creditor of the account titled Bula Albert. We have bought the debt you incurred in Nigeria from the families Pfizer's experiments caused, which, although Nigeria government accepted, the people, the creditors of that corporation, did not accept. And as the private corporation did not have the authority of assignment of consent of the people to do so. The idea that a chemical company can have any offer of remedy to anything holds no value whatsoever, and the presumption is irrevocably rebutted. An up-to-date invoice for charges up to today's date incurred by HM government not notifying you of their inability to perform any granting of any contracts or issuing of licenses will be sent to you, and I would address the matter with those still misrepresenting themselves as a government. I can, however, inform you that currently in the kindness credit account 2020-666-9 Pfizer, the debt to kindness in the universal ledger is in excess of 780 billion slave tokens worth of kindness, and that will now be secured against any collateral being utilized by your corpse oration. To prevent the same happening to Pfizer as is set out here with AstraZeneca and HM government, we require a full retraction of your chemicals from our communities, which you will publicly notice everyone by no later than 6 p.m. this afternoon, GMT, through mainstream media. You will apologise for suggesting that chemicals heal instead of harm, and that you will resign from your post with immediate effect. Anyone attempting to force any belief on another is contrary to the law and will be treated accordingly. Regards, Minister of Universal Law, Minister Ven. Now, the day after that went out, they had to retract. They've retracted their first lot. They said that there was an adverse reaction, and they stopped. And I think that was for 3 days. That's the gist of that outline. They've been put on notice. That was 2nd of December, and in the commercial system, really, you have 90 days to execute a warrant. Otherwise, it has to go back. We have to do it again. So That is the warrant. Has anybody got any questions about it?
So 90 days from what was the date?
2nd of December.
2nd of December. So that gives us till about 2nd of March.
Yes.
So
We've got to get our act together.
So we can get a print of this, and a whole load of us can have a chat together, dress up in suits, and just walk on and say what you've just said.
I think there may be a bit more to it than that.
There's not any more to it than that, and I'm amazed that you haven't done it already, because that went out on Facebook on the 2nd of December.
I'm happy. I am more than happy to do it. I will put, obviously I won't put my name forward because obviously we don't use names, but I will put myself forward if anyone else is willing to come forward with me.
Just okay, stop there. Put all of that, put your emails, send me the email over to Proton Mail, because you're everybody's minister on the van, don't forget. So it's difficult for me to distinguish, fortunately, between voices. It's under non-disclosure. So keep it under non-disclosure, please. Send it over on Proton Mail, so I know who it is that I'm nearly speaking to. And I'll send you the pack over, and you're more than enough to do this.
So can I send it to all doctor surgery and all hospitals as well?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay.
Magistrates' courts?
Well, I mean, magistrates' courts is beyond there for the magistrates' courts. The magistrates' courts, that's why they're shut. When you get in your summons on a yellow post-it note, I had to laugh. One guy, poor guy, thinks that the court's open. There's some guys setting off tomorrow, go to the court. They, across the other side of this country. What have you sent your have you pressed your button to tell them that you're going anywhere? I'm coming to the court. The court's shut. Why are you going to what are you going to go on? And this is, I mean, it's so funny in kind of June and July, and everybody kicking off, and they're getting all of the results, and they've got Minister Emma at their houses and their addresses and stuff, and they're like, I'm not sure if this works. I'm going, and actually it's like kicking the dead thing to see is it going to get up. And so, these people who are in the vulnerable positions, we need to stand surety to those people. It's yes, these people have supported this slavery system all their lives, and they've funded their own terrorism. But what are we if we stand by and we allow that to happen without any rebuttal? So, as for the courts, you could put them on polite notice that there is better to send them a notice of an eviction process, but mostly to the police. I would let them know. I went and did this with the electricity company, and he was livid in the end. He couldn't say no, and you need a court order. Well, I've got one. Well, you're going to wait an hour and a half now. What? Because I won't give you my name. I'll give you my name if I need to lay a claim. I can't wait an hour and a half because I've got to go over the road at 11 o'clock and shut the bank. I've got an appointment, shut the bank. So I'm really sorry, I can't wait. And so we'll go over there and do it yourself. But you put them on notice. If they don't want to take any action, and you can say to them, right, I'm here. You could even walk in the police station first and say, right, I've just come to put you on notice that there's out of courtesy. That you're likely to be called by a medical research centre in the next few hours because I'm going down there to evict them. Okay, see you later, love.
Awesome. I'll be one of these people. Have we got? I mean, what I want to like first time we can take these copies of paper down to like our local GPs though. Like, I mean, that would be a good start to do tomorrow, would it?
Why? You're going to the GP?
Only because I'm waiting to email you and others to do the bigger one. But I was just thinking, whilst I'm waiting.
If you shut AstraZeneca down, has the GP got anything at all to stick in his clients?
No,
No.
I think I'm
It
just going to email you. Sorry.
Again, we're dealing with the symptoms. The doctors are the symptoms. The police are the symptoms. We've dealt with the cause as far as the police go by taking HM government out and securing it. Oh, sorry, somebody just came into the room. In HM government, the police have been taken out by HM government. The doctors, the drug pushers and peddlers, and the little satellite hospitals, when they haven't got anything to peddle, you know, what are they going to do? So by shutting AstraZeneca down and the manufacturer of the drugs that are being peddled, then they haven't got a license. Where is their license? Okay, so the police come. Okay, I want to see the license that was granted by the secured party creditor to AstraZeneca. Here, I've got a document that was served on the CEO on the 2nd of December, telling him, putting him on notice of the situation. And we haven't, as secured party creditors, granted them a license. Now, are you a policeman or are you pretending to be a policeman? Because if you aren't going to do your policeman's job, which is to prevent a crime from being enacted, then I've got to arrest you. And then I'm going to come back with you after you've learned that what it is that you're actually doing and breaking the law and you're aiding and abetting criminal acts. It might not be you because you won't have a job, but I'll be coming with your mates and we'll be shutting this place down together.
Sorry, Minister, do we actually have policemen in this country? Because they're all working for a private corporation. All the police.
That's what I'm saying. The policemen are either doing their job, aren't they? It's up to you to highlight the fact, are you a policeman doing your job or are you a monkey wearing a magic outfit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed a strange situation here in Birmingham where there was another protest, and this time, usually when I've been to a protest, people are wearing, the police turn up in police officer uniforms, or they turn up as police officers with flat caps. But on this occasion in Birmingham, about a week ago, they were there, and it did say just police, not police officers, and they were wearing the bobble hat helmets. But they still seem to be doing the same kind of thing that the officers were doing.
Ex-bouncers.
Sorry?
Ex-bouncers. Doormen. Security guards.
Well, okay, yeah, but I mean, I thought there was a difference between policemen and police officers and police constables and police officers.
When the Queen got sacked, you lost your sovereign status as a sovereign state. And so you haven't got any constables really anymore. It's just a title. It doesn't mean anything. It's like your legal title. So the answer to your question is yes, we have got People's Protection Patrol, and it's them. It's those guys over there that thought that they had to go and pull the uniform on to go and feed their families. It's them. It's the guys who own the gyms. It's the guys who they're security guards themselves. You go to your community and you offer them a remedy and you say, wouldn't you like to be doing something that you didn't hate doing? What is it that you love doing? I love being at home with my children. Okay, well, why aren't you doing that? Well, I've got to come here and do this instead. Why? Because I've got to pay my mortgage. Oh, let me help you out.
Yes.
It's so simple. Doesn't matter who you're speaking to. Up to the level of the police, past that, the lawyers, let's say, and the barristers, they think that do you think that the lawyers now think that their bar association is going to prevent them from having their DNA copyrighted by Bill Gates. Even at that level now, you know, the bubbles burst. They know that their uniform doesn't cover them for anything. So, you know, and like we said on the thing, extend kindness and do it in a kind way. Don't do it in a confrontational way. You're just doing your job, right? You're just a big blue asset manager, right? I've just been told to come here and do my job. All I'm doing is I'm coming here. These people are squatting in this building. They haven't got a right to be here, and I want them out.
I think, Elizabeth, I think on my first Zoom, I think I remember I made a silly comment and I said to you, you must be absolutely knackered.
What, when you call me Elizabeth?
And I was projecting that onto you.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is we are dealing in kindness credit, so we need to deal in kindness as well. When we're talking to people, it needs to be from a kindness perspective. We can't get angry at people, because when you get angry, it just builds more anger.
It does, and I've found that myself. You know, if you get frustrated and like rah, 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 you get more of the same. And so you know, you've got nothing to shout about, because you don't need to raise your voice. The truth doesn't need dressing up. It doesn't need shouting. It just needs speaking from the heart. That's all. And when you do that, that's when universal law gets a look in, because you're communicating in a vibration that they have tried to isolate you from. And you know, they're all revved up, they're all ready, you know, they've all got the axe to grind, their cross to bear, their liabilities to pay. They're not, I just want to do my shift and go home and eat me crappy food and take me sleeping tablets and get up and do it again tomorrow. They're in the same filthy ship that the rest of us were in. Yeah. So, you know, it only works if it's done with kindness, because they're not listening otherwise. If you do it in a way that is knock the prospect off their feet, whatever it is that you are trying to communicate across with somebody, the first thing you've got to do is create interest, curiosity, and attention with them. And if you can do that, well, straight away, there's a little woman standing there, you know, she's going to take the car out of the police station. What? You think you can come here and do that? Well, the fact that I'm standing here would suggest that I believe that I can do this. Yep. And it is my belief enough. That is my belief, and I have removed my belief from your system, and I'm standing here and I am saying, not okay. Then eni olakala. In Greek, I mean, it's such a, after the nini olakala. Okay, the words O and the K come from olakala, and it means it's and it's so. And when you actually stand there and rebut the presumption just by you being there, these people, you know, it was normal for these old ladies and old men to die up the mountain without any electricity in their houses. It became normal. And the families who were struggling and rushing about trying to get the money to pay these continuous debts to just keep somebody warm or die. That's not something we're going to stand for anymore, is it? So I'll send that over. And any other little things that have a little practice run through your head, see if you come up with what happens if this, what do I say there, and let's walk through this together.
Good.
Cool. Has anybody got any questions? 11:20 at my end.
Oh dear, terrible late. Just that when I was looking at the links and things, it was for Pfizer, not AstraZeneca. Am I getting muddled up here? Are we going to Cambridge, or where the Pfizer is? I don't understand.
You kept breaking up, Anne. I couldn't understand.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll start again. It was just that when I was looking at the link that someone put in the chat box, it was the UCC one for Pfizer. It wasn't that lovely document that you just read out.
Oh, wasn't it? Oh, sorry, that was me. My apologies.
And so that I just wanted to get that straight. That's all. That's all it was. Thank you.
That was the one I seen from the 2nd of December. I couldn't see another one for the 2nd.
The AstraZeneca one, the UCC one, was 20th of September, I think. Or it was in September anyway, 2020. And it was a 28-day eviction notice or something.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think we spoke about the link for...
Sorry, Anne, it's really, really bad. I'm getting every other third word here.
Okay, never mind. I'll put it in.
No, listen. I want to answer the question. You're asking about Pfizer and AstraZeneca.
I am.
What is it that you don't comprehend?
I'm not sure which notice you were speaking of. I thought you were speaking of AstraZeneca, but all I could find was a link to Pfizer.
Right. If you have
Lisa, sorry, can you just guide me to the file name in the files? I think
file,
because even I couldn't
file?
find it. Yeah, is it on the Facebook files?
Yeah,
right?
it was up.
Yeah, so that's what even I couldn't find the 2nd of December over there. That's why.
Who found it?
I've just tagged you in it. Gaurav, I've just tagged you in it.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
I've got the hard copy here. If anybody wants it. Facebook do take some of the files down. I noticed the other day that there was a couple of them that haven't gone up. And so I put those up. And there was, it just says UCC1 file in AstraZeneca and the same for Pfizer. But the one with Pfizer, I think it's a Pfizer. So the one we did first, Pfizer.
Oh yeah, it was the Pfizer one I tagged. I couldn't see the AstraZeneca one. There's only one on the 2nd of December, and it's the I don't even know how to say it. Pfizer.
Pfizer.
Right.
The Pfizer. It's the P and the F is in Greek. So,
I have sent you a mail.
Can I just try and put this question into pieces in my head? You cannot. The question is, I cannot find the UCC filing for which one?
I found both of them.
The one that you just read out.
Wait. I'm talking to Anne now, please.
Oh, okay.
Right, Anne.
I found them both.
Well done. What was the question then?
The question was, which eviction where are we going to evict? Because I just want to be clear where we're going.
Right, my love. It's both of them, and they're both in the same place at the Biomedical Research Centre in Cambridge.
Ah, thank you so much. I didn't understand. I got it. Okay.
Okay, cool. Now, what were you saying, Minister of India, sir?
It's just that I can't find the file because I just got tagged in another one, which is just the same UCC1 HTML.
Now we need to go back to Anne and ask Anne if she can tag you in.
Any case, I sent you an email already, so no problem there. I sent you an email about this already, about the package.
Okay.
That you'd asked.
Okay.
So just I'll do it on email with you, no problem.
Zoom, but hey, here we are. La 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 la.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
I've just
Okay. So has
email
anybody else got any questions that don't include disclosing everything?
No, I've sent an email just to link in with anyone else who wants to come join me to Cambridge, wherever we're going.
I think it's fantastic. Well, wonderful, and I'm glad that we've got there in the end. And thank you for all of your support in the background. And
Thank you.
And you're very, very welcome, all of you. I've got lots of lovely messages in there now. And I look forward to seeing these criminals frog march to the police station.
Yes, absolutely.
Good stuff, guys. We'll speak to you later. Lots of love to you all.
Thank you. Good night, Elizabeth.
Lisa, don't call me.
Lisa, sorry, Lisa. Good night, Lisa.
Thanks again.
It's 40 million quid she owes me now. Look.
Right, Minister.
Stick on my tab.
Good one, good one.
Stick on my tab.
Add some more debt.
Stick on my tab.
So how much kindness is that?
Bye.
Good night, sleep well.
Have a good
Bless
one.
you.
Sleep well.
Thank you,
Good night.
Lisa.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Good night.
Nikki, don't forget to put the email message on before you go. Oh, she's gone.
You still there, Lisa?
Oh, yeah, I'm here, look there.
I was thinking maybe creating a little promo video
Sounds like a good idea.
for ULCT.
That's great.
I was thinking the same, by the way. So I was thinking I'd do, my sister-in-law also works at an ad agency as such. So an online digital agency for marketing. So I was thinking I would do a swap with them, that equity swap with them.
Maybe you and Audrey could work together on something and bring it. You know, we could have.
Yeah, I have some graphic design and digital marketing background as well. So let's get together and do something.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. The only thing is, let's speak about how we're going to do the respective agencies at both of our ends. Or
Yeah,
because
we'll do
we
that.
can
Are
use.
you doing it again?
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, stop this.
Excited. Yeah, that
Okay.